Hello again, YouTube. My name is Bree, and in today's video, I am flipping through year 2 of my 5-year Hobonichi Techo, which I'm using as a memory book or a sketchbook where each day I sketch something and write a little note to record a memory for that day. And I've been doing this for 2 years now. I do have the prior year's video up on my channel, a link to that. You'll see all those pages again this year because it's all on the same page. I am showing that it's gotten a little chunky. The watercolor does warp it. I've added stickers this year, and I currently have post-it notes all over the place to censor stuff. So if you see a post-it note, it's just covering someone's name, a piece of medical information, a work thing. Nothing too sensitive, but I'm just trying to be, polite. I also have had some supplies on the desk in the intro there. Generally, I just use whatever watercolor I have available. I use generally Copic Multiliner pens, though I have some Sakura Microns as well, and whatever fountain pens I have available. So this video was filmed on New Year's Eve, and I was so proud of myself, and I had to keep refilming it because my camera would not focus correctly, and then randomly decided it was going to have terrible resolution, so you have a couple days of January 2025 now, which wasn't my goal. Last year when I went through this, I kind of gave some highlights for each month. This year, we'll be a little bit more general. So instead of going through how many books and art pieces per month, I'll just go ahead and say at the beginning, I read 77 books this year. And I think I created like 60 something art pieces, but a lot of them were sketches. It was not a strong art year for me. And I'll get into why as we go. I basically had a lot of stress with home maintenance, work, and my cat. Juno did get sick later in the year. She's doing really well now, so knock on wood. But between all of those things, it just took a lot out of me. For that reason, you'll also see a lot of food stuff, because I was stressed and I wasn't really handling things the best at all times. I stuck with HelloFresh for far longer than I should have. Every time I canceled, they gave me a coupon to come back at a discounted price. So a lot of the doodles are from HelloFresh meals. I'm really going to try to stay, mostly make my own stuff this year and not do the meal kit thing, because even though they give you great discounts, if you leave and come back, it's still expensive. Also, just elephant in the room, it was an election year, so you already saw the childless cat lady sticker in the back. That should give you some indication of where I sit. Don't be offended when I'm not happy in November, and if that bothers you, that's a you problem, and we'll leave it at that. So, going through, already in February, but I don't really have too many highlights to call out for each month, so we'll talk about this more casually, and if you want to see anything more closely, you can pause it and look at it. But yeah, in January, I was finishing Baldur's Gate 3. I came off of a big Baldur's Gate 3 high at the end of the year, and I did platinum it on the 1st of January, and throughout January, I was doing little daily sketches of all the characters. So I was still watching videos on YouTube. There's a couple references to glitches and stuff that entertain me because I look for little things that bring me joy. And that was definitely high on the list. We also got a brand new TV and a TV mount and had it installed. And unfortunately, that excitement kind of died out really quickly when the installers really messed that up, damaged the wall. And we had to go actually get the wall repaired. So that was not fun. That's kind of where my house maintenance started off pretty early this year. Overall, I kind of had a goal of watching some older movies. I don't watch a ton of movies. I did watch more this year than in prior years, I believe. But I was going for ones that my husband liked growing up or that people talk about a lot. So I think at this point, we had Wayne's World. Later, I watched The Phantom, which was another movie my husband used to reference a lot. And then I also watched Aliens later in the year, The Abyss, just a whole bunch of different movies I'd missed out on. I would like to get back to that. I'm really bad about sitting through a whole movie, and some of those movies took me multiple sittings to get through, but it's been fun. And then yeah, I guess I also finished a little sketchbook, which was the only sketchbook I actually completed this year or last year. So hopefully I do a little better this year. Some other video games I've already flipped through, but I was really into the Spider-Man 2 game on PlayStation 5. I really enjoyed that. It got some pretty nasty reviews, but I had fun, so I can't complain. And then by February and March, I was playing Persona 5 Strikers and Persona 3 Reload pretty compulsively, actually. That's probably why my art suffered this year. I was playing too many video games. But like I said, there was a lot of other stuff going on and finding joy where I could and going really far down the Atlas hole. Later in the year, I also got Metaphor Refantasio, so there's several sketches for that as well because I was hooked. So I am actually in March now, so some highlights for March. Once again, I was still playing Persona. I got to back the Words of Radiance backer kit, which Brandon Sanderson, just like last year, I'm way too into Brandon Sanderson, so I got my leatherbound that eventually arrived, I think, in October. I got really into the series Dungeon Crawler Carl, which as an audiobook is fantastic. The series I talked about this once before. It's pretty silly. It's a lit RPG. It does get more serious as it progresses, but the narrator is amazing. Like, it is peak entertainment for me. It's a really silly series, and Jeff Hayes is incredibly talented, and just listening to him do all the voices so well, it's mind-blowing. So really like that series. Really looking forward to the next book that comes out soon. The book's out. The audiobook's not out yet. I have it pre-ordered. Also in March, I got the Schminke Naturals watercolor. So yeah, that was not a purchase I would ultimately recommend, but I have fun with them. I need to use them more. Something I tried to do this year is if I saw a fruit in the store that I hadn't tried before, even if it was more on the pricey side, I would grab it. Things I avoided in the past because they were silly expensive. I did Sumo Citrus, which they're really pricey for mandarins, but they're amazing. And I actually have one in the fridge now, and I'm going to eat it after I finish filming or recording. Pine berries, plum cots, donut nectarines, I think they were called. So those pop up in here too because I was just enjoying new fruits, or new to me fruits. And then in March, I went down to West Palm Beach with a friend to see the musical Six, and that was a really great day. West Palm the downtown area was super cute. We had a great meal. The show was amazing. That was a big highlight for the year. And then as we're in April and May, I really just don't have that much to talk about specific to these months. A lot, like right now, a bird pooped on me when I went for a walk. I tried to go relax, and yeah, so you could tell it was a stressful time. So I think at this point, a lot of it was work stress. Specifically, we had a lot going on, and it was just very overwhelming. It is what it is. Catching up on chores, more home maintenance stuff. I did a lot to keep up with just both the chores and actually fixing things. We're actually spent all day today working on we have roofers up there putting a new roof on the house. So yeah, our house is going to be in spectacular shape here shortly. Yeah. So I think there's a couple like bird photos in here. I did encounter a couple baby birds in the late spring, early summer time period, including some that were in our banana tree. We actually had to throw out those bananas because the doves nested within the bananas. So, birds, they're pooping, they got mites and potentially other things, so we weren't going to eat the bananas, but we let them keep it, and they had a cute little home, and we got to watch the birds grow up, which is only like a 2-week period, but I enjoy it. And the mama bird didn't seem to mind too terribly. We kept proper distance. We didn't bother them too much, but have to mow and stuff, so we got little peeks when we could. And then otherwise, somewhere in June, I started doing some decluttering, which was really overdue. We're talking about moving. Of course, we're going to get the house fully up shipshape first. But, yeah, so started finally going through things. We have so much stuff that we've just collected both while we were living here and in the apartment before, where we just moved a lot of it. So going through and really focusing on decluttering. I still have a bunch of work to do. I need to go back for round 2 because I have a hard time getting rid of stuff, and my husband doesn't get rid of anything. So I still need to poke him with a stick and make him join me in cleaning out everything. I also finally saw a doctor, like got a new primary care physician. That was another one of my major goals for 2024. I hadn't had a primary care physician for a while. I had bad luck with a couple doctors, so I'd see a doctor for the yearly visit and then just not want to go back to them. So I finally got a doctor that I'm really happy with. So I mean, pros and cons, but she's a little standoffish, but no, it's good. I'm glad. I feel good about that. And yeah, I should apologize too, because I normally don't use profanity in these videos, but like I said, it's a stressful year. It comes out a lot, and whoops. I think those are the baby birds. It's a bad sketch, but they do kind of look like little fuzzy blobs. So moving into July, I mentioned that we're working on getting a new roof right now. This is obviously January. July is actually when the roofing thing started. So we had some people doing an inspection. They noticed there was unusual wear and tear on the shingles. So our house isn't that old. It isn't really old enough to need a new roof, but we've had excessive granule loss. And we actually went through a warranty process. So if you happen to be a homeowner and aren't aware, a lot of shingle companies actually do have extended warranties, and the process going through that was lengthy and not easy. I think it took us like a month or 2 months to actually, maybe even more, to get through it all, but it was worth it because they ended up ultimately paying out most of the cost of the new roof. So, and now we're finally getting the roof. So we did want to wait it out till after hurricane season, and then the holidays happened, so things did get slowed down for those reasons. But yeah, I mean, we didn't have a leak or anything, thankfully, so it wasn't urgent. And then moving into July, at this point, like I said, the roof start. We also had the Sahara dust come through, and it was pretty strong this year, which did mean things got really dirty. And we finally did get the house pressure washed, so that was nice. But we got some gorgeous sunsets during that whole Sahara dust time. Just beautiful colors. So one of those things, it was allergies act up, it's gross, it's dry, but it's beautiful at the same time, so it's fascinating. I was also doing a lot of preparation for Dragon Con. I made a video about this, but made both a sticker and a ribbon to bring to the con to hand out. I was very excited about going. It was my first ever Dragon Con, and that was also when Juno got sick. There are a few times I reference her not doing well, but by July we were getting her tested. She was throwing up a lot, and this was another thing that took a couple months to really sort out. It turns out she does have small cell lymphoma. She's undergoing chemotherapy, and she's doing really well now, but there was a lengthy time where she was getting different scans, different tests, and it was very stressful. She actually ended up hospitalized for 2.5 days. We've never left her before like that, and yeah, I was not in a good place. Had to cancel my vacation. She wasn't very happy either, so we were in it together, and our wallets weren't happy. Another reason why I can't keep doing these meal kits. So, yeah, I am planning to go to Dragon Con next year. It's gonna be good this year, this year. So it's gonna happen. I was also watching a few TV shows. I'm seeing that as I flip through. So, catching up on things because I am so far behind. I'm still really far behind. I also read a lot of books that had been on the list, the to-read list, for quite some time. So I'm pretty happy about that. And I have a few more that I've been waiting on for years. So like I just saw Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I've had that on my list for I don't even know how many years. I finally read it. It was fantastic. It was a very slow read and very hard in the beginning, but I absolutely loved it. So hopefully the other books that have been on the back burner for too long give me the same joy. So we are in August. Actually, I already spoke to this because this is actually when Juno was hospitalized, because Dragon Con's August, September. Yeah, there's Alien and Aliens. I really enjoyed those movies. I don't know why it took me so long to watch them. I saw that they were on streaming, and like I said, way overdue. Been meaning to watch those for years, and I had a great time. Like Alien, the original, was really well done, and it still holds up quite well, all things considered. And the sequel was very different, but very silly, and I finally got all the lines that my coworker used to reference. Very quotable movie. So, and then there's The Abyss. I was gonna watch Predator next, and I guess because between Juno getting sick and everything else, I never got back to it. So I don't think I watched any more movies for a while after that. But I was kind of on a roll there. So once we get into September, like I said, there's going to be just a lot here with Juno about her not feeling well and everything surrounding that. But she's been on chemo since October now, and she really is. She's doing so much better. We've been tapering her prednisone. She's not needing as much anti-nausea medication, and her numbers are looking really good. So hopefully we get the news that she's in remission soon. We get her CBC done every month to keep an eye on those things. And once she goes into remission, she won't have to go to the vet as much, which she'll really appreciate. So today was not a good day for her with the roofers. So she'll come out soon. I'm sure she'll start screaming at me because I deserve it. It's my fault. Yeah. All right. So it wasn't I have some notes. It wasn't just that and work and the house stuff. We also had the hurricanes this year. So Hurricane Helene did not hit us directly by any stretch, but we still had the outer bands and some impacts from that. I was also stressed out because my brother is on the West Coast, so they got hit by Helene, and then a few weeks later we had Hurricane Milton. So Milton did hit basically my whole family that's living in Florida. It went straight across the state and got us all. It was not a fun year. Luckily, we all made out okay. My brother is still doing some repairs, but the rest of us all did well enough. But man, those storms are so stressful, and this getting ready, preparing the house, moving everything, getting the shutters up, the stress of the storm itself. You don't really sleep during it. Work doesn't like to call off work anymore for anything, so that doesn't help. It's just not a good time. So yeah, definitely called out Milton. I think that one was in October, early October. And then we had just ordered her chemo medication. It was in the mail, and the hurricane came through, and we weren't sure we were going to get her medicine, which has to stay refrigerated. So why have only one stressful thing when you could have multiple stressful things? But then Metaphor Refantasio came out, and that just took all of my free time for a bit there. I really enjoyed that game so much. Yeah. And then eventually I got new glasses. I didn't mention that. Very exciting. Pancakes, also exciting. Now I'm just looking at the screen because I'm tired. It's been a long day. Lots of roof noises. So, yeah, and then I had already mentioned that the Words of Radiance leatherbound came out. End of October, Brandon Sanderson's team did a sale, and they also released another leatherbound, the Bands of Mourning, which was Mistborn Era 2, so I had to get that as well because that is one of my vices, and I've definitely spent too much money this year. At least we didn't have to pay for the roof. Yay. Yeah, so October was really weird for me this year because last year it was so exciting. We had a big trip. I didn't get a trip this year, and that was a bit of a letdown. That giant sticker is from the packaging for the leatherbound. I do start throwing in more stickers at this point because I kept getting stickers from Brandon Sanderson things. I had my I voted sticker. I always vote early. There was the primary and the general election. I try to avoid political stuff, but you're going to see that I wasn't happy, and then I move on. So that's all there is to it. And then moving into November beyond the election, there was every year they have Fountain Pen Day, which is a sale on fountain pens and a celebration of all things fountain pens. So I finally got myself a Pilot Falcon, or I think they're called a Labo in Japan. This is a pen I have wanted for years but couldn't really justify getting. And I got a good deal on it, and because I got it on Fountain Pen Day, I got a bunch of extra goodies, so that was exciting. So I have the sticker for that, and I love that pen. That's the Flexi. It's a Flex one. The nib is beautiful. It's shaped it's named because it looks kind of like a falcon head, and it was my excitement for the week. And then at some point, I do get my Bands of Mourning leather bound and my other stuff from the Brandon Sanderson sale, which is basically enamel pins. I have too many of those too now. And eventually celebrate Thanksgiving with my family, which is always nice. I also got a new pillow, which is such an adult thing to say, but I was well overdue for new pillows, and it has been very nice. I got it's a Coop Co-op? I don't know. It's a pillow that's cooling, and it's memory foam, and it's really comfortable. I also got a cooling comforter. I don't remember if that was this year or last year, but it gets so warm in this state, and having all the cooling stuff has been just delightful. Of course, right now I have the other comforter back on the bed because it is warm. And yeah, the cooling comforter, not the right time of year for that. And my kitty's so much happier with the other one now. Yeah. And then moving into, we'll just go ahead into December. Like last year, we did I think it's Bone Maman advent calendar, which is a little jam every day, a little spread. So just to make it a little different from last year, because last year I just drew a little jam jar and painted it the color of the jam. I also tried to do a little splat to show what the jam looked like. And I actually carefully peeled the little stickers off of each of the labels and glued them in as well. And then tried to do something else because there's more the day than the jam I had for breakfast. So that's a really fun advent calendar if you're looking for something next year. Little jams every day. So good. And then obviously Wind and Truth came out, so I was reading that compulsively. I watched Arcane, which I enjoyed so much. That's another sticker that came with a Brandon Sanderson order. And then I was home for Christmas, so I actually split with my husband. Not split like that. He went, I couldn't leave Juno because obviously she needs to continue her medication. So he went to see his family and I went to my family because I can drive to my parents' house. And I took Juno with me. So while I'm with my family, we always watch movies. So I had a few movies towards the end of the year. Finally saw Wolverine and Deadpool. Watched the latest Avatar movie, which was apparently a competition to see how many times they could say bro or cuz in a movie. It was so jarring for me. And then, yeah, I did an oil painting finally. There's not much else to say. So that's basically my year in a nutshell. Hopefully 2025 will be a much better year because I need the win. And I'm sorry that this came out a bit negative. It's been a weird year. It was a weird year, and I'm glad it's in the past, and I'm hoping for better things in the future. Also, book ratings are so arbitrary. Don't put too much thought into them. But yeah, otherwise, if you've been here the whole time, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this planner or my process, let me know, and I'll answer them in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope you're having a wonderful start to 2025 and a great year ahead, and maybe I'll see you in a future video. Otherwise, take care of yourselves. Bye.